What's up, guys? I'm Chris Spags here, back with another Four Corners for today's 11-game MLB main slate, courtesy of awesemo.com. It's hump day, everybody, so let's keep that energy up today and help me out by throwing a like to this video right now. And also, if you want to win that free month of Awesemo Plus, like the video and comment your double dong pick down below. Yesterday, a bunch of people guessed the double dong picks correctly, so I'll announce the winner a little bit later on. But right now, if you want to join that winner at the pay window, like the video and comment your double dong pick down below. But for now, let's get on to everybody's favorite corner here on the Four Corners, the top pitchers, and Justin Verlander going against Detroit should be the top owned option industry-wide. Verlander gets 2.5 implied runs against him, which is a slate low, and he's expected to be the number one owned pitcher on DraftKings with 48%, on FanDuel with 33%, and on Yahoo at 53%. Verlander is seeing one of the lowest implied run totals and highest projections of the year at a reasonable price at a park that favors pitchers versus the Detroit team was a 74 WRC plus and a 26.6% K rate. After the last few days with blown up Brendan McKay and injured Aaron Sanchez yesterday, I could see why you may not want to go to chalk, but this spot for Justin Verlander looks like one of the best pitching spots we've seen all year. I'm willing to at least match the field on him today because it looks like a really can't miss spot versus Detroit. Walker Buehler versus Toronto also looks pretty good with the 2.8 implied runs against him. Buehler will be number 2 owned on DK with 33%, on FanDuel with 22%, and on Yahoo with 47%. Buehler's 29% K rate and 126 ISO allowed are great too, but Toronto has more power with a 215 ISO in their projected lineup. Buehler is a viable pivot to Verlander in case he blows up, but Toronto is a better hitting team, and I'm more scared of them than I am Verlander going against Detroit. And Julio Teheran versus Miami should also be popular again with 3.9 applied runs against him. Teheran will be number 3 owned on DraftKings at 24%, it'll be number 4 owned on Yahoo at 22%. With no hitters over a 161 ISO versus right-hand pitching in Miami's projected lineup, Teheran is relatively reasonably priced for what should be another favorable spot for him in his mediocre 5.3 xFIP and 21% K rate. Teheran was just good versus Miami about 10 days ago, and the spot's another good one for him here. I like this for him, especially because his price is down a bit on the sites where he's going to be owned. Now onto our next corner, the top stacks on the slate, and the Boston stack versus Drew Smyly should be a top owned option today. Boston gets 6.8 implied runs, which are slate high, and they project for top ownership against Smiley's 1.7 whip, 5.6 xFIP, and 297 ISO allowed. Boston has looked a bit lifeless after Chris Sale's season-ending injury, but Smiley's 10.4% barreled ball rate and other peripheral stats that are equally bad can't get them out of their funk at high ownership today. I don't know that I fully trust Boston because they really did let Aaron Nola bowl him over yesterday, and I wonder what they're playing for motivation-wise. The spot here versus Drew Smyly on paper does look like it should be a strong one with a very high implied total. And a Kansas City stack versus Aaron Brooks should also find some ownership today with the 5.1 implied runs for them. Decent prices in a park upgrade against Brooks' 268 ISO and 10% barreled ball rate allowed are big positive factors for what looks like a chalky Kansas City team. Kansas City does kind of stink versus right-hand pitching with a 156 ISO and an 84 WRC plus. The spot in Baltimore on a hot day seems worth some exposure. There's one value guy who I'll talk about in the one-off, so it looks really appealing here. The spot overall does seem worth some exposure, even though Kansas City is hard to trust because they're frankly not a good team. And a Dodgers stack versus Wilmer Font looks good again with 5.7 implied runs for them. The Dodgers went nuts as a stack yesterday, are now up against Font and his 10.2% barrel ball rate and 241 ISO allowed. Every hitter in the Dodgers projected lineup is over a 108 WRC plus and a 218 ISO versus right-hand pitching. The spot looks strong again for them at reasonable prices. The Dodgers really seem to be hitting their stride and the spot looks really strong again. The ownership will be high, but I think it's worth at least matching the field on because they look great for the spot once again. Now onto our next corner, the lower owned options on the slate, and a Houston stack going against Daniel Norris is one that jumped out to me. Houston gets 6 implied runs, and Norris has gotten hit hard with a 205 ISO and a 9.5% barrel ball rate, and now he gets a Houston team with a 227 ISO and a 136 WRC plus versus left-hand pitching. Norris's 4.7 xFIP is better than it seems, but it's hard to imagine Houston not getting to him with no hitter beneath a 103 WRC plus versus lefties in their projected lineup. Norris may not be quite as terrible as the power numbers that he gives up, but I think the spot here against Houston, you're not finding a lot of teams like Houston against you often, and they should be able to blow him up today. Yu Darvish at San Francisco also looks a bit interesting with a 3.4 implied runs against him. The wind is blowing in at Wrigley today, and Darvish looks solid with his 1.2 whip and 29% K rate on the year. Darvish still struggles with lefty power with a 227 ISO allowed, which can be good for guys like Mike Yastrzemski, Alex Dickerson, and Brandon Belt. But the low total and wind make this a nice spot for Darvish as a contrarian pay-up option. Darvish has been looking good down the stretch, and even though San Francisco has those hitters that worry me a little bit, I think the spot is another good one for Darvish, especially being aided by that wind blowing in today. And a Mets stack versus Adam Plutko is also a bit interesting with the 5 implied runs for them. Plutko has massively struggled with power with a 277 ISO allowed despite a low 1.2 whip. A mini stack should be able to find production with Michael Conforto looking extra solid thanks to the 7 xFIP xFIP, and 298 ISO that Plutko allows to left-handed batters. I don't know if the full stack gets there because the park should favor pitching, and Plutko has limited damage fairly well, but he does give up a lot of power, and I do think a few guys in this Mets lineup can get there with big numbers today. And for the cheap tier, Mike Montgomery versus Baltimore is also barely interesting with the 5.4 implied runs for him. Mike Montgomery is cheap, and he's shown signs of life recently with 2 earned runs in his last 3 starts combined. The park is brutal, but Montgomery has been a bit unlucky on the year with a 4.2 xFIP, and Baltimore is bad enough versus left-hand pitching to keep him alive with a 26% K rate and just a 153 ISO. Montgomery not the most exciting guy to roster here, but he has shown some signs of life against quality teams, including Boston. I think the spot versus Baltimore is a tough one, a tough park, but a good spot for Montgomery to continue that hot streak. And now on to our last corner of the one-offs on Ryan O'Hearn versus Aaron Brooks is the guy I alluded to earlier. O'Hearn has been terrible this year, but he has a really low price and a 229 ISO versus right-hand pitching, with Brooks giving up a 6 xFIP and 282 ISO to left-handed batters. Ryan O'Hearn is no sure thing, but this is one of the better spots he'll have for himself at a really low price, a good park, and a pitcher in Brooks who really doesn't have much going against him. Alex Bregman versus Daniel Norris also interests me as a one-off. Bregman has a 170 WRC plus and 286 ISO versus left-hand pitching over the last 2 seasons, while Norris gives up a 202 ISO of his own to right-handed batters. The whole Houston stack looks good, but if Norris does somehow limit that production somehow, Bregman would be one of the guys I'd want to get to first out of that Houston lineup. And Jock Peterson versus Wilmer Font also looks good once again. Jock went off yesterday as a one-off as we hoped, and now he's expected to be back in the leadoff spot while still cheap with a 287 ISO against Font's 6.2 xFIP and 273 ISO allowed, as well as a 10.2% barreled ball rate. Whether he's in a leadoff spot or not, Jock is cheap enough with that power he has to do damage, and I like the situation for him as long as he's in that lineup today. So there you have it. Those are my thoughts on today's slate. So right now, please like the video, and if you want to win that free month of Osmo Plus, like the video and comment your double dong pick down below. Yesterday, we had a couple of guys who picked double dongs correctly who are very handsome and talented. You could see them on the screen right here, myself and Chris Randone on yesterday's All Chris Live Before Lock show. So good job by us. Even though we can't win that free month of Osmo Plus, we're kind enough to give it to you guys instead, but I can only give one away, and even though a lot of people in the comments guessed Freddie Freeman and Anthony Rizzo, only one of them is going to get it. I'm not going to put them up on the screen. But the winner is Yanks for Life, who of course pulled it away with a random Excel generator that I run here. So good job, Yanks for Life. Email me at chris@osmo.com to collect your prize. And for everybody else, if you want to get to that Osmo Plus pay window, like the video and comment your double dong pick down below. And if you want to bask in those months of Osmo Plus alongside myself, Chris Randone, and Yanks for Life, you can also use this promo code SWITCH and Hedge for half off your first month of Osmo Plus. Get all the ownership projections, the player projections, the deep dive column, the lineup builder, the top stacks tool, a million different things that'll help you make better MLB DFS lineups every single day. Use that promo code SWITCH and Hedge for half off your first month of Osmo Plus. Go follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Chris Spags. I'm here with you guys every day, except for next week where I'll be off on vacation. Thank the sweet Lord Jesus. But I am on social media during all that time as well, so keep up with me on Twitter and Instagram at Chris Spags. I'll be back on the deeper dive later today with Alex and Ship My Money, so check me out on there filling in for the boy Laffy while he's enjoying his post-nuptials life. And of course, I'll be back tomorrow with another Four Corners video. So thank you guys for watching, and good luck.